Hello. Today we're going to learn about multiplying and dividing integers. Remember, an integer is a positive or negative whole number, including zero. So any whole counting number that's negative or positive. These are notes 10, so in your notebook, make sure it says notes 10, multiplying and dividing integers. The tricky thing about multiplying and dividing integers is that the rules are totally different than adding and subtracting. We know these rules when we add and subtract. When we add and the signs are the same, we add them and we keep the sign. If they're different, we subtract and keep the larger. When we subtract, we add the opposite. When we're doing multiplying and dividing, the rules are completely different. You're going to have to divide your brain. If it's an adding problem, you're going to remember the MC Santee rap. If it's a subtraction, you're going to add the opposite. If it's a multiplication or division, you're going to do what I showed you today. They don't overlap and they're kind of contradictory from each other. So you just have to be super, super careful. Although I find that multiplying and dividing is much easier than adding and subtracting. So when you multiply two numbers, this only works when you have two numbers. If you have a whole set of a list of numbers that you're going to multiply, that you can't use these rules. I'll show you how to do those a little bit later. But no matter what, if the signs are the same, the answer is positive. It doesn't matter if they're both negative or both positive. A negative times a negative is a positive, and a positive times a positive is positive. This is different. A negative times a negative is a positive, and a positive times a positive is a positive. If they're the same, it's positive. If the two signs are different, it's negative. So a negative times a positive is negative, and a positive, so that's one example, and a positive times a negative is a negative. It doesn't matter which one's first. It doesn't matter which number is bigger. If they're different, it's automatically negative. Okay, the way I remember this is I remember this weird saying, Dan is a sap. I have no idea what that means. But Dan stands for if the signs are different, the answer is negative. If the signs are different, the answer is negative. Different sign, answer negative. SAP then stands for if the signs are the same, the answer is positive. No matter what. It doesn't, if they're both negative, it's positive. The answer is positive. It's kind of tricky. All right. A couple of examples. -5 times -3. I notice here that the signs are the same. That means the answer is positive. And then 5 times 3 is 15. So this answer is positive 15. You do the math normally. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Do the math, and then you can determine the sign of the answer. These signs are different, so the answer is negative. One is positive and one is negative. Notice the 8 is bigger and positive. It doesn't matter that it's positive, that it's bigger. All that matters is that the signs are different. If I was adding these, 8 plus -2, this answer would be positive because the 8 is bigger. This is where multiplying and dividing can be tricky because it's totally different than adding and subtracting. And we're so used to these rules, it's hard to come back to these. When you're adding, you keep the sign of the larger. When you multiply, if they're different, it's negative no matter what. And then this last one, 2 times 4 is 8, and then they're different, so my answer is negative. Thank you.